live from the University of Hawaii at Manoa campus and Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. It is championship night in the Outrigger Hotels and Resorts Big West Men's Volleyball Championship, brought to you by the Hawaiian Islands. We take a look at the bracket, and it is second-seeded UC Santa Barbara dispatching two-time defending national champ Long Beach State in last night's semifinal round to get to this final match. On the other side, UC San Diego putting on the Cinderella slipper to an extent. They got past CSUN in the opening round and then knocked off previously unbeaten and #1 ranked Hawaii to punch a ticket into tonight's championship. Aloha, everybody. Along with Lisa Strand, I'm Kanoa Leahy, and let's start with the Tritons because that was an epic victory for this program last night, Lisa. And it turns out fifth time was a charm for the Tritons. They were 0-4 against Hawaii coming into that match this season. They're hoping tonight, sixth time will be a charm. They're 0-5 against UC Santa Barbara. So how do the Tritons make it happen yet one more time?
Well, that's a great question. I'll tell you what, they have caught fire, and they are in the system, and they are playing with a lot of confidence. As for UC Santa Barbara, the Gauchos had a bye into this and then beat Long Beach State. It's both of these teams' first time in a Big West championship match. Santa Barbara has been just so steady all season long, coming in ranked third in the nation and second in the Big West. Santa Barbara is going to have to continue to be very steady against this Triton team.
Yeah, Gauchos have won 9 matches in a row now, but on both sides of the net, what we have seen from these two teams over the last couple of nights, a lot of grit, a lot of heart, certainly, and so we're expecting a pretty good one tonight, aren't we?
We are. You know, they've come to play, and actually this is the pinnacle of it, really, and there's so much riding on this Big West Conference Championships. Both of these teams hungry, very well coached, and I think it's going to be another barn burner.
And that is the piece of hardware that these two teams will be vying for here tonight. In addition, the winner earns the Big West Conference's automatic berth into the NCAA tournament in Columbus in a couple of weeks. Joining us now is Ryan Kalei-Suji. What happens to the team that doesn't win this match tonight, Ryan?
Great question, Kanoa, but a lot of pressure for both of these teams. They recognize and they know that they have to win tonight to secure that automatic berth in the NCAA championship. Because of the upset last night, all the volleyball aficionados that I've talked to today from across the country all agree Hawaii will get an at-large bid, and many say we'll still get the #1 seed. Meaning it's highly unlikely that the Big West will get 3 teams in the tournament, meaning that the winner tonight will get the automatic berth and the loser will go home. We'll see what happens tonight. I'll have more from the sidelines and the stands throughout the match. Back over to you.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. We appreciate it. Let's take a look at the Kaiser Permanente keys to the match. What you got, Lisa?
Well, for UC San Diego, they've got to keep the fire burning. They came in, started a little slow, got things going with a huge upset last night, got red hot. They just need to control that fire. And for UCSB, they need to stay calm. They need to continue to play the defense that got them here. They lead the conference in digs and a little football as well last night in their victory over Long Beach. So they just need to continue on.
Yeah, whatever it takes to keep that volleyball off the floor. These two teams have proven to be more than willing to get it done. So we take a look at the starting lineups now for UC San Diego. Colin Shannon, he had a great match against Hawaii last night. Ryan Ka seemed to be jumping out of the building and only jumping higher as the match kept progressing. And Kyle McCauley, you know what you're going to get from him. A first-team AVCA All-American, was the AVCA Newcomer of the Year last year, and he has lived up to the billing here so far. Logan Clark, also an X-Factor last night. Shane Bennett's was strong, 8 blocks for him. Blake Crisp is the starting setter, and Matt Palma, who last night had 10 digs against the Rainbow Warriors. On the other side, for the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara, Roy McFarland, there was some doubt as to whether or not he'd be available to play. Missed the 2 previous matches prior to the tournament with a hyperextended knee, but he was out there last night, and he gets the start here in this championship match. Ryan Wilcox, bit of a homecoming for him, Punahou School alum, and boy, did he serve well for the Gauchos last night against Long Beach State. 16 kills, hit 324 with 3 aces. Randy DeWeese, their heavy hitter on the opposite side, averaging 4 kills per set. And the rest of the starters, Keenan Sanders in the middle along with Donovan Todorov. Casey McGarry is the All-American setter. And Ryan Pecksock, 17 digs against the Beach in the semifinal round. Kevin Ring is the head coach for UCSD in his 16th year, and he said last night may be the biggest win he's ever been associated with. He said, I'm an alum. He said, I'm really, really proud. He also added, we're not done just yet. On the other side, Rick McLaughlin in his 13th season led the Gauchos to a national championship appearance back in 2011, has spoken at length about how much this year's team reminds him of the chemistry and the composition of that magical season. Is there another opportunity at making it to the national championship ahead for UC Santa Barbara?
What's so great to see is the experience not only in the players but the coaching staffs. They've got years between them, and having this COVID year has their players on a completely different level. They both talk highly of their teams, the respect they have for them getting through this year, staying COVID-free, only being able to play within conference matches.
We do not have fans in the arena here, as has been the case throughout the season and throughout this tournament, but you do have members of the UC Irvine team that are sitting in the stands, so they're providing a little bit of atmosphere. And yet, Lisa, you can feel the tension. There is a lot at stake, as Ryan alluded to, an automatic berth into the national championship tournament. There's a look at some of the Anteaters who came out to enjoy the action. Hey, might as well. They've been in Hawaii for an awfully long time.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Watching this game, because they're all in the Big West, they will continue to have to compete against each other. And actually being a spectator oftentimes actually helps you to improve and see things that you never could see watching film.
And so the Big West Championship match is underway, and the first swing is provided by Shane Bennett, but he misses the floor wide, and the Gauchos strike first. UC Santa Barbara 14-4 on the year. They went 7-3 in Big West regular season play, got the 2 seed. They're ranked 3rd nationally coming into tonight. The Tritons on the other side, 5-12 overall. They're ranked 14th and got the 4 seed by virtue of a 3-7 Big West record. You see the match above the net results in a swing for Kyle McCulley, and he pumps it long, and a lot of energy already coming from that Gaucho bench here early on.
Both of these teams, you know, they've watched film. They've had to do a quick turnaround. Both of them having long matches last night. UC Santa Barbara played for 2 hours and 12 minutes. San Diego played for 2 hours and 55 minutes.
Yeah, that was a marathon 5-setter against Hawaii. Down the line, McCulley misses again, no touch. And so 3 points to start set 1 by the Gauchos.
And McCulley looks like he's swinging for hands and not quite catching any just yet.
And Roy McFarland, the 6'4" senior from Manhattan Beach, looks to be okay dealing with that knee, wearing that heavy brace. And speaking of heavy, a heavy-handed swing there by Shane Bennett. And UC San Diego is on the board. They have taken on that role of team of destiny. Can they keep it going for one more night, being the improbable success story here this week in Honolulu?
That's exactly it. Can they sustain what they've brought to the Simplify Arena at the Stan Sheriff?
Donovan Todorov just obliterating that set in the middle, and so quickly gets the side and the point back to UC Santa Barbara. So freshman from San Diego averaging 1.1 kill per set, but hitting .515 on the year. And that one put down by Bennett. So the middle attackers already getting involved here early, 2 serving 4 in the first.
That's right. Shane Bennett's a 6'6" junior out of Santa Clarita, California. One of the tri-captains on the team. Very consistent this year, hitting at .355.
It was a Big West Conference honorable mention selection, served by McCulley. Set goes to the middle. It's dumped over by Sanders. So a chance here to play it back for UCSD, and McCulley goes off the block and out. So a point for the Tritons. And from the service line is where Kyle McCulley really did some damage. A career high 4 aces in that match last night.
Yeah, he really puts a heavy hand on this ball. It's, 65 to 72 miles an hour is what we've seen this weekend from him.
That one reaches 68 on the gun. And the first swing for Ryan Wilcox runs into the wall of blockers. And Colin Shannon and Bennett's combining forces there.
And I think that's really what UC San Diego, their defense has improved incredibly, but their block last night was stellar. They were so disciplined. They had 13 blocks on the evening.
As that serve goes into the twine. Yeah, they outblocked Hawaii by 5, and they provided the pressure against Hawaii from the service line as a squad. In fact, the 10-team aces for the Tritons, the most given up by the Rainbow Warriors all season. So they sort of flipped the script on the #1 team in the country and just showed a lot of grit as the night went on, and it was a marathon-like match. It seemed as though UC San Diego got stronger.
It really did. They were so resilient, and they just continued to fight. They're gritty, and their blocking was key. They're putting things together as the season has progressed.
Tied at 5, outside, and that's Wilcox. Great set there from McGarry. And Wilcox knew what to do with it. 6'2" sophomore from Honolulu, Hawaii. The team leader in aces, 32 on the year. Added to it, obviously, last night with the 3 aces against Long Beach State. Big West Conference honorable mention. And he misses the court wide on that one. Rick McLaughlin after the match were saying, hey, look, Wilcox, as tends to be the case, a lot of the players from Hawaii that go elsewhere when they come back, oftentimes you see them have big matches. There's a familiarity, maybe there's a certain chip on the shoulder. He says, well, he doesn't just do that here in the islands. That's what we get night in, night out from Ryan Wilcox.
Yeah, he's been a huge immediate impact player for the Gauchos. He was named the AVCA Newcomer of the Year in 2019 and the Big West Freshman of the Year as well.
As McFarland is able to tool the block. And Keenan Sanders now back behind the line to serve. Two-hand pass there by Ka. He'll get the set on the outside, goes over the top of that proposed block and gets his first kill of the match.
And Ryan Ka has kind of become just one of those players that does so much for the team, and he's always smiling. I wonder if he's going to get a new nickname going here.
We're open to suggestions if you got any.
It brings a lot of really good energy to his team.
There's McFarland. Another well-timed, quickly run offense there in that transition by Santa Barbara.
And McFarland, like you talked about earlier, Kanoa, was an unknown whether he was going to be healthy or not. He hyperextended his knee. He actually didn't start the match last night and got inserted a little bit later. But Coach Rick McLaughlin talks highly of him and his just leadership on the court.
That's Shannon. A net violation called against Santa Barbara, but either way you slice it, that's a kill for Shannon. And he was bringing the hammer last night. Put down 12 on 26 swings, hit 346 to go along with 3 blocks.
He definitely hits a heavy ball.
And here's the serve by Clark. Two-hand pass there, Wilcox. Backside set, it's McFarland. Goes off the block. Played up by McGarry, so the bump set from Pexock. And McFarland tried to slice it cross court. Went a little too wide of the floor. And so neck and neck here in set 1. You expect this kind of match throughout?
I do. These two teams are very similar in so many ways. They're based a lot on defense. They're very consistent. They stay steady. Even though UC Santa Barbara has taken the matches previously this year in conference, they've played them 5 times this season. That's a lot. And really, it's just to get the matches underneath their belts.
Yeah, UC Santa Barbara winning all 5 previous meetings this year. The closest was a 5-setter in La Jolla. That was on April 14th. UC Santa Barbara hit 8:33 in the 5th to win that one 15-7 in set 5 as McCauley is blocked back. High ball set goes to Shannon. Jumped a little early. Dinks it over, and it still goes down.
And Shannon got under that ball. There you see them communicating. They keep continuing to talk to one another. He's got to take that ball from behind the back line. He just betters the ball.
10 serving 9. And here is Blake Crisp, 6'3" junior from Westlake Village, California. Tickles the tape on the serve. Backside, DeWeese able to drive it through the block. The senior from Sacramento, California, 6'6", and brings the heavy lumber each and every time.
And Randy DeWeese, just one of those players who kind of does it all for the team as well. We mentioned previously that he was put in the setting position for a couple of years, and now he's moved to the opposite. And he leads the team in kills as well.
And that's a service ace for UCSB. As Donovan Todorov contributing from back there. 7 kills on 10 attempts. He was error-free offensively against Long Beach State. Hit 700. Also had a half-dozen blocks.
And that's the kind of player you want in that position. Again, just that steady player. He doesn't cost you a lot, but he's doing his job. They call him a perfect role player.
Bennett's filling his role well. He gets yet another put down, and we are tied at 11 here in the first frame. Backside set, it's DeWeese, 2 blockers against him. He tries to go deep corner, misses wide. No touch up front, so a point for the Tritons. We wonder about this run for UC San Diego and how unexpected it has been. That win in round 1 against CSUN was their first postseason win since transitioning to Division II. They're now Division I. They transitioned to Division II back in 2001, and then they followed that up with the takedown of the #1 team in the country last night. As that ball goes up, back over the net, but it hit the scoreboard overhead. So if it falls on the other side, it is a dead ball. So the result is a service ace for Kyle McCulley.
And Kyle McCulley just picking up where he left off. That was 70 miles an hour.
My goodness. Good luck with that. Pass by Peksak is a pretty one. Set goes outside to Wilcox, pinballed around. McCulley sets up Ka, goes high hands and out. And a point for the Tritons. They're up 14-11.
And you know how difficult that ball is to hit? Ryan Ka just made that look so simple, coming from behind him and seeing the block high off the hand.
So a timeout taken by the Gauchos. The Tritons doing it again. This Spectrum Sports telecast of the 2021 Big West Men's Volleyball Tournament is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii. Well, Shane Bennett's off to a solid start for UCSD. 3 kills on 4 swings, hitting 500. Also has a block to his stat line already, Lisa.
Yeah, he's starting off strong tonight for his team, that's for sure. And he's allowed to do that, #1, by that first contact being so good. And Blake Crisp running that quick offense in the middle.
Tritons hitting 385 here about midway through this opening frame compared to 182 for the Gauchos. And out of the timeout, the McCulley serve goes long. He pings 70 miles per hour on the gun, but for naught, as it is a point for UCSB.
Just the sound of his serve is intimidating.
It does. It sounds a little different. You're right. This guy can make it go kaboom as well. DeWeese, that one hits 66 miles an hour, but that goes long.
And you can see how these teams are really trying to go for it from the service line, getting a little bit more comfortable, both of them having a couple of nights now here in the Simplify Arena at the Stan Sheriff.
Bennett, that one was floating back, 2-hand pass by Wilcox, and then he gets the set on the outside. Ryan Wilcox.
And I'm sure he had his pregame meal over at Zippy's. He talked about how every time he comes home, he's got to go have his chili rice. He takes the team with him.
I mean, what a great asset that is to have a local guy on your team if you're playing in a tournament format like this, or anytime you're coming out to play in the islands, as Ryan Ka is turned back by Casey McGarry.
And Keenan Sanders, boy, that was return to sender, as you would say.
McGarry, who had 34 blocks coming into this match. puts up some incredible numbers from the setter position. As Shannon hits it long. Was there a touch? No touch. And looky here, we are knotted at 15.
It's just a couple of simple hitting errors will bring UCSB right back in.
High toss here from Wilcox. Tried to go to that deep corner. We saw both teams in their semifinal matches last night really hitting precise spots. They were trying to go sideline to sideline service-wise and found some success.
They really were. There were a lot of service aces, and that's just the only time you truly have control of the match.
Case in point right there. Look at Shannon. That had a little bit of movement on it, but it goes smack dab inside that sideline.
You were right on that one. You're seeing things before they happen now?
Let's not go that far.
Yeah, there's been some great serving. They're really trying to get the other team what we call out of system, have them take a step or two and have that first contact pass not spot on.
Here's Andrew Boyle, 6'3" freshman from La Crescenta, California, into the match. Was inserted late in the match last night and was a big factor in UC San Diego's winning not just the 4th set, but that 5th set as well. Played admirably. In fact, got the final put down block to end the match.
Yeah, and oddly enough, he got the off-the-block Player of the Night award, which is so well deserved. I can't believe they got on that quickly, but he was critical in that win.
So 16 serving 17 after the Keenan Sanders put down. Here's Ka. Block was up. Good cover there by McCauley. Back to Ka. Blocked again. This time it's covered by Boyle. Now they go the other side to Shannon. The swiping save by Wilcox. But unfortunately, Sanders couldn't track down the second touch.
And Ryan Ka just swinging nice and high off the hands, getting the ball back into play, and Colin Shannon doing a great job just hitting high off the hands.
So here is Ryan Ka, 6'3" redshirt sophomore from San Marcos, California, averaging 3 kills per set. Goes into the twine there, but has played so well, being thrust into the starting rotation due to the injury to senior Wyatt Harrison. And on that note, almost as if they heard us talking, Wyatt Harrison is inserted into the match. He is also a Hawaii native from Kilauea, Kauai, as the serve by McGarry goes into the net. Harrison, who suffered an ankle injury during warm-ups of the second match of the season against the University of Hawaii, that was up in California, and made his return in the opening round against CSUN. Spot duty for the most part, but still to have an experienced player like that, a leader on the squad, that has much value.
And especially as a senior, you know, they want him out there, his leadership. He's been in the program a long time. Just getting the opportunity to get on the court is huge for him. Yeah,
very similar to the scenario involving Roy McFarland, but McFarland misses down the line, and the Tritons are up 3 in the first. Welcome back. There you see the score here, set 1 in the Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship presented by the Hawaiian Islands. Final match between UCSD and UCSB. Let's check out the first Hawaiian Bank top 3. Big West points per set. Rado Parapunov from Hawaii got upset last night at the hands of the Tritons, 5.24. He is out there. Spencer Olivier from Long Beach State, 4.82. And Randy DeWeese, he's in the final. There he is in your screen. 4.67 points per set.
And we saw his younger brother out here earlier in this Big West Conference Championship, playing for CSUN as an opposite as well.
Yeah, very cool. Played well, too.
He really did.
Wilcox first touch out of the timeout. McFarland, that one crawls down the net and down. And every once in a while, it really pays to have some good fortune, and that was one of those moments you almost see the smirk, the knowing smirk from Roy McFarland there.
Yeah, Roy McFarland's parents, Dana and Nancy, I'm sure are watching at home, and I'm sure they're chuckling along with him. His dad was a pro beach volleyball player back in the day, 80 through 88.
18 serving 20. And that quick set goes to Bennett's, was a little bit off center, and so the blocking scheme had not accounted for him there in that position, and he benefited.
And Bennett's having a good connection in the middle there. That's his 4th kill, I believe, on the evening so far.
UC San Diego just playing with such a high level of confidence through this tournament and showing no real signs of waning in that regard as the serve goes into the net.
And along that note, once you start winning, you start to expect to win. It becomes a habit. And their confidence really, I think, has kicked in here in the islands in this tournament.
I mean, when you think about the team of destiny tag, and that gets thrown around all the time, and you know, you're only the team of destiny until you're not, right? But they have certainly had that look, and you just look at some of the statistical anomalies that we've seen, right? Overcoming the match against Hawaii after losing to the Rainbow Warriors in 4 previous meetings. Last night they hit as a team 241. It was their first win this season when hitting below 250 as a squad. They were previously 0-8. And so, you know, say what you will, it just seems as though the planets to this point have aligned for this squad, and they are just playing really, really top-level volleyball. And right there, Kyle McCauley, such a weapon from the service line. And UCSD up 4 here in the first.
And they continue on. And Coach Kevin Ring talks about it in 3 phases. He says there's phase 1 of the season, phase 2, and phase 3. Phase 1 is that preseason, you get a few games under your belt. Phase 2 is conference. We all had 10 games within our conference. And phase 3 is here at the Big West Men's Volleyball Championships. They have definitely come into phase 3 to play.
Yeah. Kevin Ring, that his cell phone was blowing up after the match with text messages from a multitude of alums, friends of the program. This has been a big deal for this UC San Diego team. And that middle set mistimed, so a rare miscue and a chance here for the Gauchos. They go back row, and McFarland able to get it down.
And McFarland looks like he's back. He's looking like close to 100%. He doesn't seem like he's limping as much. Last night he had a little limp in his step, and he didn't even warm up in hitting procedures last night.
Yeah, now hitting the Bic, and they're setting him in a number of different positions. So, yeah, timeout on the floor by UC San Diego, but the Gauchos creeping back within 2. UCSB leads the all-time series with UC San Diego 48-8. This is the 57th meeting, but as we found out last night, all of those previous stats, just throw them out the window. It doesn't necessarily pertain to what's going on here this week in Honolulu. Let's send it over to Ryan Kalei-Suji. Ryan, what's up?
Thanks, Kunal. Well, during this timeout, setter Casey McGarry for Santa Barbara talking to his hitters at some point, talking about the offensive options. And Coach McLaughlin, very confident in his senior setter, saying that out of all the setters in the country, he believes that McGarry is one of the top setters in the country at running this faster offense. He has a lot of confidence in this senior and his leadership abilities, saying that he can dish it out from anywhere and is really the main key to keeping this team offensively as successful as they've been. No doubt he will continue to try to find more options for his hitter, trying to make this comeback here in set number 1. Back over to you.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Yeah, one of the reasons why Coach McLaughlin has talked so much about comparing this team, at least in terms of the feel and the vibe, to 2011 when they made it to the national championship match, lost to Ohio State there. But he says it's because we had a dynamic setter that year. They had Vince Devaney, who previously worked with the staff, was able to work with Casey McGarry, and Casey McGarry has filled that same bill, a leader on the floor and just a very, very well-rounded setter.
He really is, and he's taken it all into account. He runs a quick tempo offense, and at 6 feet, the senior from Manhattan Beach, you know, was named CIF Player of the Year, and in California, that's a tough thing to do, to get. So he's had 4 years, actually due to COVID, you know, maybe this 2 half seasons under his belt, but he's doing a fantastic job leading his team.
Purchase your favorite University of Hawaii gear online from the UH Bookstore. Go to bookstore.hawaii.edu to start shopping now. And here is Randy DeWeese prior to last year, split time in what was more of a two-setter system with Casey McGarry before taking on the full-time opposite hitter role. Now both of them All-Americans at their respective positions, and that was a great set to McCauley, who just blasts it off the block. And it is set point here for the Tritons, what we around these parts like to refer to as Aloha Ball. And it is Bennett who will be serving. Two-hand pass by Wilcox. McGarry goes middle to Sanders, and he just finds that near sideline. And so UCSB not ready to fold it up here in the first.
And showing his faith in his hitter, McGarry going for that quick set in the middle. A little risky as well, but you gotta love that he's feeding it.
Yeah, it was a little off the net and still able to connect to his middle. Outside, here's Kyle rising up the ladder. And it goes off the block and out, and that is a point for the Tritons, and UC San Diego strikes first in the Big West Men's Volleyball Championship, 25-22. And there is a look at Ala Moana Beach Park on the south end of the island of Oahu. Some beautiful scenics that have been provided to us by the Hawaii Tourism Authority. Of course, a big reason why the Big West Men's Volleyball Championship being held here in Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center, as it was recently announced that the Hawaii Tourism Authority would be the presenting sponsor for not just the men's volleyball tournament, but also the men's and women's basketball conference tournaments till 2023. Monday, it's a double dose of OIA Boys Volleyball. Catch Kailua versus Castle at 6:15 p.m. on Spectrum OC16 and Kalani versus Kalaheo at 6:30 p.m. on Spectrum XCast. Well, UCSD handling its business in the first frame. They hit 364. Had a single block. Had a couple of block assists from Colin Shannon and Shane Bennett. That matches the blocking output of UC Santa Barbara. Overall, the numbers fairly even, fairly similar in that first frame, but it was UCSD taking it 25-22.
Very similar, and this is exactly where UCSB was last night. If you recall, they played Long Beach State and lost that first match as well. They weren't totally in their rhythm, and I think there's just such a small difference in the numbers in that first set that this game will continue to be more of the same. Yeah,
one of the discrepancies you could say would be that the Tritons had two more service aces, 3-1 in that first set. And that obviously factored pretty heavily as well.
Yes, you definitely could. And they sided out a little bit better than the Gauchos at 69%, and the Gauchos were at 62%.
UCSB was able to turn it around after dropping the first, as you alluded to, Lisa, against Long Beach State last night. They'd hit 100 in that first set. And boy, did they get hot by the time they were playing in set number 3. They hit 519 in that frame, finished the match hitting 292, and would win in 4. So they know how to bounce back. Both teams have exhibited that here in this tournament. And so will the Gauchos be able to do so once again here in the championship match? Randy DeWeese following the opening service error by the Tritons, getting ready to serve it up for the Gauchos. Great pass there. Right side set goes to McCauley, but that was started off by the Matt Palma pass right on the money.
He has just been phenomenal in my mind. The junior out of Costa Mesa, California, in Edison High School. He just makes things look incredibly easy.
Yeah, double-figured digs in both matches in this tournament, and here is a service ace. Just like how he drew it up, Kyle McCauley. Off the tape and down.
What's funny is that when it goes off the tape, the radar gun doesn't quite get it, and so that one measured at 26.
Yeah, I don't think that's too accurate, because that was blasted. And the fortuitous ricochet off of the tape. Already 3 service aces for Kyle McCauley. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Career high 4 last night in a 5-set match. Popped up by Petzot. Cross-court set goes to Wilcox, and 3 blockers up, eclipsing the sun on that attempt.
And UC San Diego has been formidable in their blocking schemes. They've worked very hard on being intent, low and tight to the net, with their hands completely turned back into the court.
McCauley pulled the string that time. Required a layout pass by McFarland and a free ball chance here for the Tritons. Middle set, Bennett's missed the court wide, no touch up front. And a missed opportunity certainly for UC San Diego on that sequence.
And the team, the Tritons, are actually looking to their coach. They thought that it was possibly in. They're asking if they should call for the challenge. Looks like they're not going to. Definitely an opportunity missed.
You won't often get a free ball pass over the net against a team like Santa Barbara. Out of the back row, McCauley blocked back and roofed. Oh boy, that was some major heat exchanged at the apex.
Keenan Sanders just putting up a wall. Not going around me, guys. I'm just going to stay here and do my job.
Sanders with 49 blocks on the season coming into tonight. Outserved there by Wilcox.
Sometimes you wonder if you're going a little too hard at it. You know, you're trying too hard, anxious a little bit. The Gauchos tend to stay very calm.
And that serve goes into the twine. So the service errors starting to mount a little bit here at this juncture of the match.
The Gauchos have been really focusing their service at Ryan Kaw. You're going to notice they're trying to get him to pass and actually come out and hit the outside ball.
Sanders aims at Kaw. Here he comes from the outside, dug up by Wilcox. So McGarry sets up DeWeese from the back row, blocked out a piece. Now Kaw, second crack at it. Hits it long. Was there a touch? And they will say that there was, so a point for the Tritons.
And it's interesting, the Tritons bench got a couple of the players standing on the chairs over there, cheering as loudly, kind of like last night. They're doing the same thing right where they left off. They're providing the energy for the players on the court.
So 5 serving 4 here in set 2. Pass by Wilcox, tight to the net, middle set. And Todorov wasn't able to get it down. He gets another try at it. Two-hand save there, Palma. Backside, Shannon down the line, and it goes off of Pepsock and out. And another point for the Tritons. Another kill for Colin Shannon. That's his 5th already in this match.
You know, I wish we could have a radar gun for how hard the ball gets hit, because I think he's going at like 90 miles an hour.
Well, he has been locked in here in Honolulu. He's having a great year last season, was top 10 in the Big West Conference in blocks and aces prior to the COVID shutdown. And he has once again sort of found that rhythm. Ka down the line and in. Oh, they're going to say that that was out. Line judge called it in. Overruled. And so a point for the Gauchos.
Gauchos going back to serve, but Kevin Ring's going back for the paddle.
He's grabbing the signature replay challenge paddle. That's how we roll here at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center.
Gets me a little nervous when they march back there and they pick it up real quick. You know, like, don't hit anybody, relax.
Yeah, they're either challenging a replay or they're going to bid on something up for auction.
Hey, bidda.
We have the officiating crew, by the way, R1 Jesse Martinez atop the ladder. And the in-out call obviously being challenged here by Kevin Ring. Bert Fuller is the R2 who's got the headset on. He's taking a look at this. Line judges Mel Cayetano, John Park, Mark Nakashima, and Randy Rubinall. All right, let's see if we can decipher anything conclusive. That looks in.
It definitely does look in. And again, the speed of these balls that the players are hitting are very fast. So thank goodness for the challenge call.
And it is overturned. So a successful challenge for Kevin Ring. And UC San Diego up 3. You know, it's interesting as well because not all of these teams play with either the television resources or otherwise to utilize the replay challenge system throughout the season. As DeWeese goes off the tape, and it'll be played back. Here's Ka against a double block and some high cheddar, but somehow it's still saved by Peksock. Great chase down by McGarry to keep the sequence going. And then it is bounced off the Terraflex by Logan Clark.
That was an amazing scramble by Roy McFarland. He went almost into the banister over there and stayed out of it somehow.
Oh, UCSD of the Gauchos doubled up in the second. Welcome back. Coming up on Everything Hawaii, adventurer Kavika Singson captures whale songs while diving through a bait ball in Kailua Bay. Check it out tomorrow night at 8:30 exclusively on Spectrum OC16. Well, UC San Diego has UCSB doubled up here right now in the second set. Ryan Ka starting to get hot. 5 kills on 10 swings. He's hitting 400. And we talk about these hitting numbers right now. 355 for the match on the side of the Tritons. A lot of credit has to go to Blake Crisp, the starting setter. He has been running the show here so far in this match.
He really has, and you know, he has not always had this setting position. He's only played behind their last year's setter, graduated actually, and he's been put into this spot, and he's really moving the ball around nicely for his team.
Yeah, changing tempo. As McCauley, that one deflects off the top of the tape and goes wide, so a point for UC Santa Barbara. So here is McGarry now, back behind the line to serve. The team leader in assists, and also the team leader in digs. They'll put over on the second touch by Crisp, and he comes into the net. So as we were hyping up the play that he has exhibited here so far, a rare mistake that we've seen from Blake Crisp coming into the twine.
And that's a tight one. He's actually in the front court right now, and he just tries to put it down. The ball was going to go over the net anyways, but net violation called.
Yeah, didn't get much of it. You don't need to get that call. Well, that pass tight to the net, little ping pong battle above the tape. And there's Chris trying to dump it again on the second touch. DeWeese, roll shot by the double block. Bump set, high ball goes to Ka from off the net. Couldn't put much into it. It's a chance here for the Gauchos. McFarland, diving second touch by McCauley to keep it alive. Good rally here. Outside, McFarland again off the block. There's McCauley on the save. Here's Ka coming in. Off the block, the cover by McGarry. So Gauchos in transition. DeWeese, high hands. And right there to save it is Palma. Backside, it's Shannon. Oh, he lights it up. It goes off of Peksock and will be played back. Here's Ka again. And coming into the net is DeWeese to finally end a marathon rally that goes the way of the Tritons.
That was just amazing. Both teams going back and forth, scrambling, a little unorganized, but you could see the likes of their play. The quick tempos to the outsides, the scrambling players on the ground, great soft blocks on both sides of the net. These teams just slowing that first ball down and working behind the block. Unfortunately, DeWeese just wanted that block so badly. The Gauchos are second in the Big West in blocks.
Getting a lot of touches.
This is where patience really comes in after long rallies like that. Just moving on to the next play and not getting frustrated.
With the serve, 66 miles an hour registered there, but it sails a little long on him.
And Ryan Ka, whose mom also played at UC San Diego and won a national championship back in her day as well.
Yeah, that was back in 1990, back in their Division III days. Outside, McCauley blocked, covered by Palma. They go right back to McCauley. How about the layout save by Peksock? McCauley tried to crack it down, unable to do so. Now it's Wilcox, and the diving save by Palma, but only momentarily. Wow, these liberos are putting it all out there.
So much great defense. And again, you see the frustration, Matt Palma touching so many balls in the backcourt there. great defense.
Here's the effort by Palma. Earlier, you had Pexock with the layout one-handed save. And nobody saving that one as Logan Clark just steady Eddie there in the middle. Last night, 6 kills, hit .444 with 4 blocks against Hawaii. Sort of picked and chose his moments, but he seemed to always be effective when his number was called.
He really did, and he was a big part of the blocking success last night for their team.
Here's Wilcox. And guarding the back line that time was Ka. Now McCulley was high hands. The save along the back line by McFarland. Wilcox this time will not be denied.
And that's the perfect set for Ryan Wilcox. A little bit off. He sees the court so well, just getting up. It's a quick tempo set, high to the outsides, and he uses the hands of Blake Crisp on that play.
Donovan Todorov, just a freshman. Didn't play last year as a true freshman. Obviously factoring heavily here in a big moment for this team. Whoa, that one didn't go down. The Tritons thought it did. And Bennett is able to get the point anyway. That was pretty crazy because it looked like UCSD had shut it down for the point.
It really did. It almost looked like the rally was over, but it continued on, surprising many players. Another kick up, if you will.
Actually kind of looked from that angle like it did hit the Terraflex. And Bennett's making sure that it does on the side of UC Santa Barbara again, providing the resistance top the tape.
Yeah, Bennett's just incredibly disciplined, staying in the middle, staying with Keenan Sanders there. And you see his numbers this season.
And these are two teams that certainly did not want COVID to shut things down last year. You had UC San Diego, 14-5. They had already recorded the most wins in their program's history since turning D2 again back in 2001. Their first ever wins in the Big West Conference. They defeated UC Irvine twice. Recorded 7 wins versus ranked opponents, which is something that was a rarity for this program over the course of time as well, as Sanders gets it down. And then on the other side for the Gauchos, they were 14-2. They had started Big West Conference play with a victory before the COVID shutdown. So funny that we have this championship match with these two teams that seem to be setting themselves up for contention a year ago.
Well, I can't agree with you more there. It seems like they slowed down, but they're right back kind of where they were. And both of them, again, playing their first opportunity in Big West playoff in the championship match.
Yeah, McCauley getting a piece of that block attempt, so he gets the kill. And both coaches talking about that. I think a lot of the programs had to deal, obviously, with the staggered schedule leading up to the season. And so they're now, as some of the coaches alluded to, bringing it together almost in the way that they would, say, just a week or two into the season under normal circumstances, as another ace is credited to Kyle McCauley. That's his 4th.
At 72 miles an hour. Yeah, he's getting real confident from that back line, just swinging away.
Ties a career high already. Here's DeWeese, blocked back, the cover by McFarland. DeWeese by the double block. And we're going to have a net violation against the Tritons. So a much needed point here for Santa Barbara.
And DeWeese blocked back and then sees the opening there and swings away. Here on the replay, we can take a look at the net violation there. I believe on the left inside arm.
From the back row, that is clobbered by Kyle McCauley.
And that's an amazing set by Blake Crisp. McCauley coming out. The middle blocker takes. Shane Bennett holds the middle blocker, Keenan Sanders, and literally there's nobody up on him from the back court.
Double-figure kills for McCauley in 15 of his previous 17 matches. He is at 5 here in this match. Efficiency numbers a little bit down by his standard. He's hitting .067 so far, but the 4 service aces, a handful of digs. He's still filling that stat sheet.
Yeah, he sure is. you give a little, you take a little, and his performance in all the other areas is leveling him out, definitely.
Pops that one straight up in the air, so McCulley takes on the setting responsibilities, and then tools a triple block and gets the point. The Gaucho side of the net thought that may have been in, but they didn't argue too extensively.
He hits that ball coming from behind him so well, and usually you want a ball more in front of you so that you have a vision of the blockers and the court in front of you.
Shannon. Pass by Peksak, jump set outside. McFarland has to swipe it over with the left hand. Now we got a joust up there. The Gauchos will play it back. Wilcox from behind the line. Hits it long. No touch called. It's a point as it currently stands for the Tritons, but I think we're looking at a challenge here. The UCSB side of the net, they're proclaiming that there was something that was not ruled properly. I'm not sure if it's a touch or if they thought it was in.
Yeah, not sure either, but Ryan Wilcox immediately turned around and said, "You got to call that." You know, and the players are out there. They either hear it or they see it. They know what they hear and what they see, but oftentimes on these replays, it's hard to pick it up.
So you see the challenge, and Bert Fuller will take a look. They're going to challenge a touch on the play, not at the net, but right there perhaps. It's Colin Shannon closest to the ball. And again, the Gaucho players were adamant. They thought they saw a touch, and there could be a touch. I'm not sure how conclusive it is on these first couple of looks.
It looks like the ball changed directions right after. I think that there was a touch on the replay. It looks like the ball, his right arm there, and then the ball, Jimmy's out there to the right of him. But
I think I would venture to agree with you on this one, but we have been wrong so many times.
yeah, because you know why? It's not our call.
That's right. Thank goodness it's
This
not
is our call.
Thank goodness it's not our call.
I would not want that position. No, thank you.
You see the swing there by Wilcox. Big week for Wilcox, by the way. He was featured in the television obstacle course game show Wipeout in an episode that aired earlier this week on TBS. It was Ryan and his girlfriend Chloe, and they had to maneuver. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this show, but they had to maneuver through this crazy obstacle course. It's like over water, and they won the episode. They won the thing, and I asked Ryan how that experience was, and first and foremost, he said that it was Chloe's idea, but he said it was a lot of fun. They couldn't win any or keep any of the prize money because of NCAA rules, and so that's unfortunate. But he said it was a pretty great experience, and I had to ask the obligatory cheesy question of, all right, so what's harder, maneuvering and negotiating through that obstacle course or through a Big West Conference tournament? He said, we'll see.
You gotta love it. And he is a waterman. He paddled well, an all-star player at Punahou. Growing up here, doing lots of different activities and sports. But yeah, we will see.
Yeah, well, the official did not see a touch there, at least not enough to draw the conclusion that it should be overturned. You could see Wilcox incredulous and in disagreement. And so it is a 5-point advantage for the Tritons. That set not at the target, and so a chance here for the Tritons tried to be dumped over by Boyle. Good swing there, McFarland. Santa Barbara on the attack again. Here's Wilcox from the back row. And that was a little angst behind that swing.
And every once in a while when a player knows that something happens, they saw it, it lights a little fire underneath you as well. So sometimes that'll turn the tables. It'll do a boomerang effect. And that might just have happened with Ryan Wilcox.
It is such a game of momentum. And you're right, it can turn on a dime. Here's Shannon from behind the line. First touch there by McGarry. Centered by Peksak. And then the dink by McFarland sniffed out. We got a joust above the tape, and it's won by Boyle. Andrew Boyle I mean, he's just had a knack for some of those plays at the net.
He really has. He continues to come in and make things happen for his team. Both of his parents are UCLA grads, and I'm sure they're watching as well.
18 serving 13. 68-mile-an-hour serve there by Codd. Deweese was able to work it off the block and out.
Be interesting to see if Deweese gets going a little bit here. Right now, he's got 2 kills on the evening, and he has been their go-to guy.
Wyatt Harrison inserted back into the match on the Triton side. Deweese 3 kills, hitting 200 so far. Middle set, that's Clark. 1 hand save, Peksak. Over the shoulder set, Deweese 2 hands it across. Opportunity here for the Tritons, but 3 blockers up. And McCulley is denied access as Deweese roars through the twine at the Triton side.
Santa Barbara's 3rd block on the evening. It's a great one-arm jig in the backcourt by Peskov.
Outside, 1 blocker to defend McCulley. He tried to avoid Deweese going line, missed wide, and Santa Barbara. Oh, they're going to say they got a piece, so that will be a point for UC San Diego. The initial gesticulation by the line judge was out, but I think actually we have a net violation is the official call against Deweese.
Getting a little lucky on that one was Kyle
Backside, here's Deweese, big wind up there. Saved along the back line by Harrison. Now McCulley blasts it off the block. Boyle goes backside to Shannon. Lally pops it over, so chance here for the Gauchos, and Todorov is able to come through.
Todorov just getting up there and being willing and able and ready. Only a freshman, but doing, again, the little things for his team. Getting high off of the hands.
San Diego native. So interesting to be going up against the team representing that area in the Big West Conference. Outside it goes to McCulley off the block, and it tightrope walks the top of the net and finds its way out for a Triton's point. They're trading blows here at this point, and the Gauchos are going to have to score in bunches to avoid going down 0-2.
They really are, and it's interesting because Kevin Ring has changed it up to a 6-2. Here we see Blake Crisp coming back in, the setter, in the backcourt, and we also still have Wyatt Harrison in the match, left back. He's playing the backcourt right now for Ryan Cobb, giving him a break.
Outside, it's Wilcox. Slowed down by the net that time, so Harrison sets up McCulley. 3 blockers up. And it gets returned in an adamant way.
And again, that's that set coming from behind you when you really have a tough time seeing that there's 3 blockers in front of you. Set from the backcourt. It's a solid block by the Gauchos.
And again, Deweese, known for that extra second of staring through the net after the fact, just to drive the point home.
He is a true competitor, and interesting, he did not play high school volleyball. I find that very interesting, and to be playing at this level, Division I volleyball. It's pretty amazing.
And he only played club ball for Northern California Volleyball Club. Was named to the U.S. Junior National Training Team in 2016, so a lot of experience to be had, even though it wasn't in the sanctioned prep ranks. Backside, McCulley, 1 hand up by Deweese. McGarry pump sets it to Wilcox. That's dug up by Palma. Shannon had to slow up the approach. Right there is Wilcox on the save. McFarland highballs it to Wilcox. Blocked. Good cover by McGarry. Wilcox again, roll shot. Diving save by Crisp. Shannon from way off the net. Got a pretty good hit on it. Gaucho's coming back the other way. It's Wilcox. Lights it on fire.
And these 2 teams are incredibly tenacious. Back and forth they go, breathing hard, trying to wipe up the floor. We talked about it being a battle, and that it is. Ryan Wilcox putting an exclamation on that ball. 6 kills in 16 attempts.
Some extra moments being taken to wipe perspiration off of the Terraflex here. Bodies hitting the deck every which way. Season on the line. If we are to trust some of the prognosticators, suggesting that the winner goes to the NCAAs, the loser does not. 2-point contest in the second. Welcome back. Tuesday, it's an OIA softball showdown as Kapolei meets Mililani at 6:15 p.m. exclusively on Spectrum OC16. Here's a look at Lahaina Town on the island of Maui. We're on the west end. Here we are in Honolulu, Hawaii, on the campus of the University of Hawaii at Manoa Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center, where UC San Diego is looking to parlay what many consider to be an unlikely run here to this Big West Conference Championship match into an actual title, the hoisting of the trophy, and an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. But UC Santa Barbara hoping to have something to say about it, down 1-0. Trailing by 2 here in the second. McCauley off the block. Good save there, Deweese. Cross-court set. Wilcox tried to nudge it by the block. Little pitter-patter above the tape. It goes back to Wilcox on the bump set, and he tools it to his advantage. And UC Santa Barbara within 1.
Definitely a couple of strange plays in that last.
Hold the phone. It just got reversed. They're going to call 4 hits against UC Santa Barbara. And there are some palms pointed upwards and some shoulders shrugged on the Gaucho side of the net right now. So they're giving the point to the Tritons. And Rick McLaughlin trying to get an explanation.
Lots of confusion. That would be a lift to me.
So they must be saying that off of that joust, there were 2 touches in that same area.
And there actually were 2 players actually contacted the ball.
That would be the suggestion of the replay. We would have to take another couple of looks at it perhaps to determine whether it is conclusive. But again, the call on the floor, as we understand it at the moment, is Point Tritons. And there's another look at the officiating crew. And they have been awfully busy this week, putting that challenge system to big-time use.
It's almost a tougher job to be the down ref, because you have to go over there in critical times, put the headset on and watch and rewatch and rewatch the play that's being challenged.
Yeah, Jesse Martinez knows how that goes. He was down on the floor a couple of times here in the tournament. Let's take a look. So there's the joust there. That should just count as a block touch, correct?
Yes.
And then right here would be the question, are there 2 touches there between McGarry and Deweese?
They're both touching it, and to me, that looks like a lift. Or a throw, either one. Did not look clean. And then they're playing, yeah.
Exactly. So if you were to conclude that there were 2 players that touched it there, maybe this look will offer a little bit more help. And it kind of does look like that might be the case. Then that McFarland bump set would be their 3rd touch, and thus the swing by Wilcox representing the violation.
But I understand, because when it's simultaneous contact, usually you think of that as a 1 contact. They collide, and they're both contacting, obviously, the same ball. There's one.
Oh, just outside the edge of the frame. That would have been a lot of help if we just had a few extra in terms of the spectrum view.
You gotta love that the Gauchos just continued to play, and they really believe, you know, that was the first contact, and they could play 3 hits following the block.
This is an awfully long challenge taking place, and so that now introduces another obstacle, right? These players standing around, getting a little out of rhythm, maybe cooling off just a tad. They have to refocus and get back to that high energy level once we resume play, but we have still not come to a decision here.
And it definitely does slow things down. The momentum, the change. We've seen this before earlier in the conference when this happened, and then they go back and they're not sure who's serving and where players are.
Again, call on the floor, a 4-hit violation. So this is a challenge from Rick McLaughlin, just to be clear. Let's check in with Ryan.
Well, this is a very critical point, too. Coming out of this, if San Diego gets the point back, Kyle McCulley is going to be the next server, recognizing that McCulley has gone on runs throughout this match, scoring from behind that service line, putting the service pressure. So Santa Barbara not only wants this point for points and to stay competitive, but also to try to keep McCulley cold and to continue to keep him off the service line as long as possible. Back over to you.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Appreciate that suggestion, as looks like we may be coming to a conclusion here from Bert Fuller. And they are not going to overrule the call. What say you, Lisa, based on the replays we saw?
Well, I'd have to say that, number one, if I was the up ref, I would have called it as a lift, but it was one contact together. I think the Gauchos have a good case in point, but I'm not exactly sure what Bert Fuller's sharing with them, but there you see the floor captain, Roy McFarland, over questioning what the call is and why.
And again, what could prove to be a pivotal point here at this stage of set number 2. I mean, you're talking about going from 19-20 to 21-18.
It's a big difference. And the Gauchos know it, but let's see how they stay focused and stay calm. They've been cool, calm, steady, and collect this entire season. You've got a squad of veterans out there.
Yeah, they embody a little bit of the stoicism from their head coach as well. But you're right. Now it is time for them to respond. This is gut check time here a little bit for the Gauchos, trying to avoid going down 0-2 in the championship match, dealing with some adversity coming from not just the Tritons on the other side, but from their perspective, the officiating crew as well. And here it comes from McCulley. Overpass. And the Gauchos will be able to play it. McFarland sets up Wilcox. Blocked and roofed. It was Shannon up next to Bennett's.
Wilcox was just trying to tool the block, hitting into it. But again, UC San Diego's block, low and tight over the net. It's been their strength as they've come into this tournament.
Kaw also up, joining that triple block attempt. Served by McCulley goes long. And you get a sense of urgency from the reaction from UC Santa Barbara. They came together for a quick huddle there, and they looked like they had their serious game faces on. Can they make a run here in set 2? Wilcox, the high toss, tickles the tape. Pass by Kaw is a good one. He gets the set on the outside by the double block. Good save, Pexot. Outside, it's McFarland. He was drifting. Great chase down on the second touch by Crisp. And a free ball coming here for the Gauchos. Can they cash in? Outside, McFarland gets it down. Kaw was tracking, but you see the partition there that is placed on the arena floor to provide the same amount of space on this side of the playing surface as there is in the sideline area in front of the official scorer's table across the way. And I think had that partition not been there, Ryan Kaw probably had a chance to go get that thing.
Definitely, he had his roller skates on. He was chasing that thing big time, and then he saw it and it kind of stopped him. He didn't really know what to do.
3-point lead here for the Tritons. Sanders rising high and getting it down.
Keenan Sanders, 4 kills right now, doing a great job in the middle. 6'6", one of the seniors.
Santa Barbara hitting 122 here in this second frame compared to 182 for UC San Diego. Some of the other numbers dead even just about. 24 digs for the Tritons, 23 for the Gauchos, 5 team blocks on each side. Clark is dug up. Great effort by Sanders. DeWeese from behind the line gets it down. And Santa Barbara within 1.
Santa Barbara competing. And DeWeese seeing the court again, the opposite from the back court. 3 blockers up on him.
DeWeese now with 4 kills, hitting .231. He has a pair of blocks and 3 digs to his stat line.
And both teams up there blocking, they both have 5 blocks apiece, like you shared earlier, Camilla.
Again, the advantage in one of the statistical categories of note, service aces. Tritons have 5, and the Gauchos have just 1. So a timeout taken.
And it goes to show you the importance of the service and how you get the opposing team out of system.
All right, so here is a look at the setup for the NCAA Men's Volleyball Championship, May 3rd through the 8th in Columbus, Ohio. 7 teams. There will be a play-in match going into that first round, the quarterfinal round. Top 2 seeds earn buys directly into the semifinals. Now let's take a look a little bit more at the format details. Again, the host is Ohio State. It is in Columbus. 7 teams, single elimination. We talked about the top 2 seeds getting the buys. You have 5 tournament champions getting automatic berths from the Big West Conference Carolinas, EIVA, MIVA, and MPSF, plus 2 at-large berths. And the bracket reveal will take place tomorrow on NCAA.com, 7 a.m. Hawaii time, 1 p.m. Eastern. So with all of that at our disposal here, informationally speaking, let's bring in Ryan Kalei-Suji. We've seen pretty much chalk here from the rest of the conference championships regarding automatic berths. So what do you see happening with regard to the at-larges?
Well, a lot of people, like I said earlier, believe that Hawaii will not only get the at-large bid, but they also deserve to be that #1 seed in the tournament. That victory by BYU as well. Some say you see that score, them winning in 3 over Pepperdine. Some arguing that BYU should maybe be that #1. But remember, BYU has an overall record of 19-3. Those 3 losses are some pretty bad losses, which many people do not believe is deserving of a #1 seed. And so Hawaii's chances of making it looks good, but it's not only making it, but getting that #1 seed. Going to this match here, if San Diego is able to pull the upset, while they will be able to make it, they likely will be one of those teams in the playoff seeded at 6 or 7 and have to do that play-in match. Because of their overall record being so low, they likely will have a longer path to a national championship.
Good stuff, Ryan. Thanks for the intel there. UCSD up 1 out of the timeout. Crisp has to chase it down. How about the back set to Shannon? Blocked. It goes out. And it is a point for the Tritons. And again, you have a lot of Gaucho players standing around looking at the line judge and also looking at their head coach. And I think they are asking for a review.
They are. And it was the Gauchos reserves, the bench, yelling in, and got everybody motivated on that one.
And so we will take yet another look here. What can be a crucial point in this second set.
There's the block.
Yeah, that was McFarland who got the gist of it. Is it in or out is the question, and it looks awfully close. That angle makes it look like it caught a piece of the line, as slight as it may be. Let's see if this angle helps at all. Oh boy, I'm not sure.
Yikes.
That angle makes it look like it might have missed the line.
It looks right there, like the shadow. You see the shadow of it? I mean, that's about as close. I double don't want to be the down ref right now.
That's as close as it gets. And it is either set point for San Diego or we're tied at 23. It is reversed. It is ruled in. It is a roof by UCSB, and we effectively start over in this second frame, 23 all.
Game to 2.
Rick McLaughlin trusting his players that time. He was hesitant to challenge the play.
A little hesitant, you gotta be. You only got 3.
He gets to keep that one after the successful challenge. Right side here, Shannon against the double block again. Is able to go right by it and a little too hot to handle for Randy DeWeese.
And Shannon just seems to be finding his way to being a great offensive threat for his team.
Yeah, Shannon just taking quality cuts. I mean, every time it just looks as though he's laying the lumber. Aloha ball here for the Tritons in the second. Outside, McFarland down the line, got the touch point for UC Santa Barbara, and we will play extras in some form here in set number 2.
The 6'4" senior showing his experience, his knowledge, his expertise.
McGarry with the toss. Pass by Ka. He gets it on the outside pin. Blocked and roofed. Todorov saying and it is UC Santa Barbara who will serve for set 2.
And Cobb just swinging away. He just continues to hit high hands, but Todorov doing a fabulous job again in the middle. Just very disciplined.
4th block of this second frame for the Gauchos. Aloha ball down the line and wide, and we are deuces again.
They're definitely going after Ryan Cobb on that serving. Trying to make him pass and get out and swing hit.
Seems as though the Tritons have just been playing a steady stream of these kinds of sets here all weekend. Cobb blasts it. First touch by Wilcox is a good one. Outside is DeWeese, goes over with the left hand, and it works anyway.
DeWeese got in there a little early. He came flying in and just bettered that ball with his left hand. Here on the replay, we can see it. All of a sudden, it went past his hitting shoulder, and he sees a big puka hole in the center there.
Savvy veteran play there by DeWeese. Again, set point for Santa Barbara. Here's McCauley rising high, blocked back. Pinballed around, caught from the back row. Chance here for the Gauchos. Peksak sets up DeWeese off the block. Swiping save by Palma. McCauley tight to the net, goes off the block. Can he stay out of the twine? No, we have a net violation against McCauley. Point for the Gauchos, and we are even Steven here after 2 in the Big West Men's Volleyball Championship. Catch your breath, but only for a moment. Plenty of volleyball to come. Welcome back. There's a look at Waikiki Beach. And we have been really spoiled with the fact that we've been able to host this wonderful tournament, not only because of the surrounding beauty here, but also because of the high-level competitive volleyball. How about UC Santa Barbara, Lisa, scoring 9 of the last 12 points in that second set to pull out that 27-25 win to even this match up?
They definitely turned on some energy behind their block. It definitely improved. And also their serving, they've got a few errors, but they served a little tougher in that last set.
Averaging as a team 2.1 blocks per set. They had 5 of them in that second frame alone.
Yeah, I think that really gets their energy going, and we spoke about it earlier, Kanoa. They're second in blocks in the Big West behind Hawaii. And once that gets going, it changes the momentum on their side of the court.
No, that's what Rick McLaughlin described this team to be, a team that grinds out victories. It may not always look pretty. We may not always get the style points. They do have some good blocking numbers, but it's not as though they always put up dominant blocking statistics night in and night out. He says we just find a way. We dig a ton of balls, that's for sure, and we play generally tough defense. We saw that especially down the stretch in that second set.
We sure did. And the Gauchos have always been known to be that, the scrappy defenders. It's almost like their trademark.
So set 3 underway. McCulley trying to avoid the block, goes up and over and out. And so the Gauchos on the board first here in the third.
And McCulley's struggling a little bit from the hitting perspective of his game tonight. He's got 5 kills, I believe, and 5 errors.
Here's Shannon from behind the line, and again, just putting the hurt on every set that comes in his direction.
Yeah, he's in system, if you will. I mean, he's just doing things really well for his team, playing in that opposite position.
So 3 players with 7 kills for UC San Diego. You have Shannon, Ryan Kaw, and McCulley. As you were alluding to, though, Kyle McCulley not having his typical hitting night, at least percentage-wise, -040 at the moment. Blake Crisp at the serve. Backside, Deweese. The block hadn't fully formed, but he wasn't able to take advantage. Sails it long.
And that's only his second error.
Deweese with 5 kills, hitting 188. McFarland and Wilcox with 6 kills apiece to lead the way for the Gauchos. Here's Deweese, solo block against him, and he gobbles it up.
You gotta love that Casey McGarry goes right back to Deweese. He's hungry. He's like a lion out there. You know, he kind of stares through the net when he's done, but he wants the ball at all times. Incredibly competitive.
There aren't going to be too many occasions where one-on-one situations don't go the way of Deweese.
This is very true.
Forces the overpass and, in fact, logs an ace.
Yeah, and again, the Gauchos really trying to go after Ryan Kaw on passing. They want to stay away from Palma, of course. The 5'11" junior, the libero.
Second reception error of this match for Kaw. 3 serving 2. Right at him again. This time he puts it right on target. McCulley from the opposite side. Blocked but covered by Kaw. And then the set to the middle was mistimed. Scramble now for the Gauchos. Here's Wilcox, dinks it over the triple block. Good coverage there by Crisp. High ball goes to McCulley by the 3 blockers. Dug up by Deweese. He gets the set through the block. Kaw guarding the back line. McCulley, 2 blockers against him. It's dug up over the net by McGarry. Crisp goes quick middle. It is swiped over by Bennett, and now the middle attack from the other side. Keenan Sanders misses wide. Oh, he had a good look at it.
He did, and he is trying to run a quick offense there, McGarry, and great idea, and just barely misses that ball. He was far to the left of the court, though.
So Nick Amoruso, 6'7" freshman from Dix Hills, New York, in and back to serve, and the block is stout against Wilcox. They were waiting for him on that occasion.
They really were. And it's a quick tempo set, and yet San Diego gets out there nice and quick. They're just camping on him out there.
That's McCulley behind the service line, sends it long on his second try. Again, tried to fire it up as far as the MPHs are concerned.
He really puts heat behind it, tries to make things happen from all over the court, wherever he is. He's swinging away.
At the wrong 21 for the wrong team. In the middle, Bennett's blocked, but it goes out, and so it is a point for UCSD.
Yeah, and Keenan Sanders responding to Roy McFarland's question, did you touch that? And he says, I'm not sure. Sometimes things happen so fast.
Oh, and it's overturned after the brief conversation between Bert Fuller and Jesse Martinez.
Blake Crisp, the floor captain, trying to ask some questions here. And you can see why he's saying he's not sure. The ball hitting the top of the tape. Not sure if the tape went into his hands or the ball went into his hands.
A long discussion between Kevin Ring and the R2 Bert Fuller. And he's going to challenge the call that was initially to overturn the first call.
Yeah, well, he has every right. He wins, he keeps the challenge, and if he doesn't, he's down one.
So it took a little bit of doing to figure out exactly what the call was. Now there's a challenge to that determination. Ryan, what's up?
The reason why Santa Barbara is actually questioning that is because they actually showed the replay here in the arena. So the coaches from Santa Barbara, the players and coaches from San Diego were able to see the touch on the replay. And so Santa Barbara is saying that is against policy, because if there is a challenge requested, the screens actually go blackout and those in the arena cannot actually see what plays in question. So Santa Barbara is saying that San Diego has the advantage because they got to see that on the replay and thus was able to create and call for that challenge after.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. And that usually is the protocol throughout the season during challenges, is they will not allow the fans or the team on the floor to see the actual replays.
So that it's not influenced by the crowds or by the coaches or by the players.
And so at the end of the day, after all the dust clears, it is a point for UC San Diego. Well, we knew we'd get tripped up at some point. UCSB, UCSD.
Right?
Similar color schemes. Just, you know.
It's bound to happen.
It's bound to happen.
With these UC schools and these back-to-back nights, right?
Bear with us for some of our own mental shortcomings.
Yeah. Well, we are human.
Here is now Keenan Sanders to serve for the Gauchos. Up on springs, but he goes cross court and wide.
And you definitely have to start thinking, is there a little bit of fatigue in Ryan Kaw? He's had 18 attempts so far tonight, 19 attempts, excuse me, and they're forcing him to pass almost every ball.
He does receive that one, gets the set on the outside. It gets turned back. McCauley trying to salvage the rally. He's blocked, and now two hands it over. Free chance here for the Gauchos. Middle set a little tall for Todorov, but it comes back on their side. DeWeese two hands it over. Here's Ka, and it goes outside of the pin. And a point for UCSB. They're up 2 here in set 3.
And UCSB really sticking to their game plan, serving Ryan Kaw and having San Diego set high outside as often as possible.
And so the last couple of sequences, we've seen things a little less rhythmic, not quite so sharp on either side of the net. Shannon off the block and out. Boy, has he been good in this match. 8 kills for Colin Shannon. He's starting to tease the 400 hitting percentage range. In fact, he hits 400 right there, smack dab.
And he has 1 service ace as well, and he's been in on 5 blocks.
DeWeese from behind the line. Good court vision exhibited by the senior.
Hitting out of the backcourt. DeWeese doing a nice job. Beautiful set there.
Big West Conference first team selection, Randy DeWeese, for the 2nd straight year. ABCA National Player of the Week back in early March. Back row McCauley goes off of the shoulder of McGarry.
McGarry was right there. He took the hit, but McCauley again one of his harder hits this evening out of that backcourt. He's pegged a few players during this tournament. Not on purpose, he just swings away.
Yeah, not headhunting.
Definitely not.
Hunting for some high velocity. 7 serving 8. Middle set, Todorov. Good first touch there by Ka. Here come the Gauchos. Deweese off the high hands. And then a little joust at the net, and it looked like UCSB had the advantage there, but they tap it out of bounds.
They had 2 players up on that play, and it's just a little unfortunate because there was a free ball, and to have that hit out, it's a little unfortunate.
Eight up. Ka with the serve. 67 miles an hour goes long. And now Roy McFarland back to serve. Soft touches it across. Shannon. And we're going to have a net violation called against the Gauchos. So trading blows once again here in this third set.
Net violation on Todorov. And he doesn't deny it. He just lines up and gets ready for the next play.
Outside, Wilcox. And we have another whistle. And it's going to be a net violation on the other side. This time the Tritons committing the violation.
And again, I talk about fatigue because when you look at what these 2 teams have done in the last 3 days, how much volleyball they've played there on the replay. On the way down, I believe it was Blake Chris, but they have played so many back-to-back matches and long, hard-fought battles with not a lot of time in between matches and to hit the reset button.
Todorov almost caught the backside of the dome of his teammate Deweese. A little bit of a lull, it feels like, here at this stage of the match.
You can definitely feel the lull from both teams.
Deweese says lull that. Just ravages that set.
I think he heard you, Kanoa.
Yeah.
From our plexiglass box over here.
Yeah, as hard as he and some of these other guys have been hitting it, I'm very glad we are protected by plexiglass.
We haven't been run over yet either. We're pretty far away from the court.
Good pass there by Ka. Right side, it's McCauley cross court. Deweese with the up. Outside, it goes to Wilcox. And he just placed that one right in the middle of the floor.
Really interesting how the Tritons have actually switched Kyle McCauley to the right, and he's staying over there, and Colin Shannon has stayed on the left in this rotation.
12 serving 10. That was a laser from Deweese. Shannon. A little pop himself. Shannon into double figures. First player in the match to reach 10 kills.
Leading his team, jumping out front.
And now hitting 471.
A 6'7" senior out of Westwood, California.
McCauley goes into the net.
Cully's an interesting story as well. The transfer from Orange Coast College, played 2 years of junior college ball and then transferred over.
Yeah, we've seen a few instances, cases of players who have gone the JUCO route for some of these teams here, not just in this tournament, but elsewhere as well across the country.
And with men's volleyball growing in numbers, and it really has, Division I, Division II, Division III, you're going to see more players coming out of junior colleges to fill these four-year universities.
Well-placed set, well-placed hit by Sanders past the diving McCauley. Sanders now a senior. who was a freshman All-American back in 2017.
Yeah,
Averaged 2.2 kills and hit .373 as a true frosh. My goodness.
He burst into the scene. You know, he came in and made an immediate impact for the Gauchos.
That was a good-looking swing. One of the better swings we've seen from Ka here in the last few stretches.
This is where both teams are going to have to really start to dig deep. You know, a little fatigue, a little tired, a little low. You're in the third set. We're going back and forth, little battle, and they know they've still got a ways to go.
I mean, think about it. This is the 6th meeting this season between these two teams. As Shannon sends it long. And that can even contribute, I think, to the fatigue factor. Gauchos to 15 first in the third. Celebrate how local people in various walks of life have responded to COVID-19 with aloha on the next Outside Hawaii tomorrow night at 6 exclusively on Spectrum OC16. That is a look at Kailua Kona on the Big Island. We continue play here on the island of Oahu, in Honolulu, Hawaii. And it is UC Santa Barbara. After dropping the first set 25-22, they win a grinder in set 2, 27-25, scoring 9 of the last 12 points in order to do so. And here they are up 2 in obviously a pivotal third frame.
And it continues to go back and forth as these two teams are just so tenacious, battling out for this Big West Conference title, but more importantly for the automatic bid into the NCAA playoffs.
As Ryan Kalei-Suji has filled us in on, as well as most of the prognosticators across the country, it is likely that the winner is in by virtue of the automatic berth, and that the loser here in this match is not, as Deweese goes through the block. Outside it's Ka, and he goes cross court. Was there a touch? Yes, there was. Now, again, it is all speculation until the official announcements during the selection show tomorrow. So again, we can't conclusively say, at least from our vantage point, that one thing is going to happen over the other, but again, strong likelihood that that'll be the case.
Yes, and as we know in the history of the NCAA, stranger things have happened.
That's right. Outside, McCauley had to hang up there for a little bit. The two-hand save Wilcox. Deweese from the outside is blocked. Good cover, though, by his teammates. Deweese a second time. Tried to go wrist away, and he got it in.
He goes wrist away, and then he celebrates when he's done. The Triton switching out setters. Andrew Boyle coming in and taking over. There you take the covering. And McGeary all over that.
So 16 serving 14. That serve is in. An ace dealt out of the deck by Roy McFarland.
And that's an interesting serve, mixing it up with the jump float, going deep, hanging a little long.
The largest lead of this third set for Santa Barbara prompts a timeout from the Tritons. That is one of the most majestic views available across the Hawaiian Islands, the view from atop Mauna Kea above the clouds. Doesn't get much better than that. Play continuing here at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. Kanoa Leahy along with Lisa Strand. And it is UC Santa Barbara up 3 on UC San Diego. 2 seed versus 4 seed here for the Marbles in the Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship presented by the Hawaiian Islands. And McFarland with the serve. Middle set looped over by Logan Clark. So a chance here for the Gauchos. Deweese blasted off the high hands. Cross-court set tight to the net. Some trouble there, but now McCauley will get a second swing at it, but he just soft touches it over. Deweese, that one a little low. He tries to two-hand it, gets denied. Now Wilcox after the back bump set by McFarland, but it's somehow returned by the Tritons. Wilcox another time, dinks it over, diving save Palma. And another free chance here for the Gauchos. Deweese blocked and roof.
And you talk about defense-winning matches. How about defense-winning rallies? Unbelievable sprawl out by Mount Palma, the junior, just reading that like a book. And a stuffed block by Logan Clark and Kyle McCulley.
Palma with 8 digs. That was about as spectacular a save as we've seen in this match.
And Ryan Cobb took one in the backcourt on that rally as well.
Here's Deweese. Goes off the block and out.
You can just hear the force behind Ryan Deweese's swing.
Again, some of the offensive execution not quite as crisp. Pun not intended regarding Blake Crisp, the setter for UC San Diego, but not quite as crisp over the course of this middle portion of set 3. That's a nice set, though, for Wilcox. And he's able to cash it in. Great effort by Ryan Cobb, even though he wasn't able to conjure up the save.
Yeah, and just some scrambling defense by Todorov in the backcourt. The middle blocker, who actually served for that point, came in and plays left back defense and had a diving save in the backcourt.
Todorov with the serve. Outside, it's McCulley. Got a little extra oomph behind that one. And he gets kill number 9. It was flat lining it percentage-wise prior to that swing.
Casey McGarry is holding himself right there down the line. He's in the right spot at the right time, but it is just too much to handle.
Andrew Boyle with the serve. And the Gauchos out of system. Touched over by Wilcox. So Ka with the set for McCulley from off the net. Saved there by Pexa. Back set, cross court goes to Deweese, but he can't get it down. Shannon from the right side. I mean, just sheer force. Thunderous swings being exhibited by Colin Shannon.
He sees the court so well. It's almost like he's hitting it on his way down. He swings as hard as he can off of the blocker's hands. Carrying the load tonight, 11 kills.
That leads everybody. Deweese in double figures on the side of the Gauchos, but the serve by Boyle goes into the twine.
And Boyle's still pretty young in the game, only a freshman. He's played 12 sets total this year.
Two rosters that have their fair share of senior influence. It'll be interesting to see how these programs transition next season, as Shannon decides to pull the string for one of the first times tonight, but it's returned by Deweese. That time, he went for it, but he gets rejected. Keenan Sanders was up on the block.
And here we take a quick look at that replay. Keenan Sanders just sealing the deal, getting outside low and tight.
And Gary next to the pin, joining forces. And it is a 4-point advantage here for the Gauchos. So now it becomes a gut check time for UC San Diego. They were down 2-1 last night against Hawaii, and they were able to still pull it out. But this is match number 3 in as many nights. And so you just wonder if and when the fatigue factor ever starts to take a toll. They have been able to fend that off. It has been remarkable how this team seemingly has no end to the level in the gas tank.
That's so true, and they've just been so tenacious. They just continue to battle and to fight. And talking to the coach earlier in the week, he just talked like, hey, we've come to compete. We're going to do everything we can to play the best volleyball we can while we can.
The blocking for UC Santa Barbara has been stout. 8 total team blocks in this match. Just 1 in this 3rd set, interestingly enough. On the other side, you have 7 blocks for UC San Diego. But the timeliness of some of those roofs has also been key for the Gauchos, as again the total team blocks for UCSB 8. As we bring you the number for the Leeward Roofing Roof Reporter. Let's check in with Ryan.
Hey, thanks, Kanoa. Well, during this timeout right now, Coach McLaughlin talking to his team. They are going to do a sub. They're going to bring in Chalmers into the match, an outside hitter for blocking purposes. So look for that. But also the coach talking about earlier about this team and the overall personality, saying that this is one of the closest teams that he's coached in all of his years. He said that there is very little drama. Everybody is bought in. Everybody knows their roles. And he's saying that in some ways, this extra season and because of COVID-19 has allowed this team to build an even deeper team chemistry. A lot of the success that they're experiencing now is directly attributed to the fact that this is a team that gets along both on and off the court. Back to you.
Yeah, it's interesting. You don't often hear a coach utilize the word fun to describe a volleyball team. He says this is just one of the most fun teams I've ever been around. And so he's enjoying this ride, and for good reason, because they have played awfully good volleyball on a consistent basis. 14 wins to this point. They've won their last 9, and here they are up 4 in set 3. And as Ryan alluded to, a substitution for UCSB. Connor Dunn coming into the match, 6'9" freshman from Phoenix, Arizona.
Putting some height in that front court, that's for sure. So he's taken out Ryan Wilcox and put in Connor Dunn.
That one into the net by Deweese.
And so Connor Dunn will leave the floor. Ryan Wilcox will come back in as well. The setter, Casey McGeary.
And a serve by McCauley into the twine. So 22 serving 18. Gauchos looking to polish this third set off and take a 2-1 advantage here in the Big West Championship. 62-mile-an-hour serve by Wilcox. Here's Ka rising high, and he finds that deep corner. Gaucho's bench thought it was out. It was called in. And again, Ryan Wilcox is expressing some significant emotion in response to that in call, and he's got to be careful to maybe not cross the line.
Exactly, and the thing is that the bench is yelling at them, that was out, that was out. And maybe Ryan saw it in or out or whatnot, but obviously there's not going to be a challenge on that call.
Served by Nick Rigo there for the Tritons. Swing by Sanders will be played back, and then Ka going off the block and out. So, as has been the case so often for the Tritons here this weekend, they are not bowing out easily. Here's that call that Wilcox was upset about. An in call, and he may, at least according to that replay, have had a beef.
Definitely, but it's too late now. You either challenge when it happens, you can't look back.
Sanders plugs it through the block and down.
When the Gauchos get a nice pass, just like that, going to Keenan Sanders is pretty ideal. I mean, he elevates. He really gets up there. The 7th kill, hitting at 400 right now.
Serving 20. Right side, Shannon through the block, kept alive there by Wilcox. Gets the set in the back row, and he just places it in the right spot. And Santa Barbara will serve for set 3.
We have not seen a lot of attacks out of the backcourt so far in this matchup. Ryan Wilcox showing how savvy he is. Still only a sophomore.
So Aloha ball here in the third. And Gauchos, again, dropping the first set and in position here. to take the advantage in the match. Very similar to what we saw last night in the semifinal versus Long Beach State.
And Coach Kevin Ring in the post-game interview yesterday said, "We are not done yet." And you know, you just gotta love that they're here competing. They just continue to fight and fight back.
DeWeese finishes the deal. Set 3 is over, and UC Santa Barbara, after dropping the first, have taken the last 2, and they have the distinct advantage here as we venture into set number 4, the Big West Men's Volleyball Championship. There's a look at the Ko'olau Mountain Range here on the island of Oahu. UC Santa Barbara up 2 sets to 1 here. And if you follow along the mountain range path, it'll get you to Kualoa Ranch. You may recognize some of the scenery from the Jurassic Park movies. Pretty gorgeous, huh?
Absolutely gorgeous.
Well, Randy DeWeese has been pretty fun to watch in this match as well. 11 kills, hitting .258. And it seems as though he has kind of found his mojo as this match has progressed.
He has. He's been lighting it up, that's for sure. But not only hitting-wise, it's amazing. He's got 7 digs as well and been in on 5 blocks. 3 blocks, excuse me.
Taking a look at the Big West bracket and how these teams got here. UC Santa Barbara knocking off 2-time defending national champ Long Beach State in last night's semifinal. And then UC San Diego, they have sort of stolen the headlines here. Their first ever postseason win, at least since turning Division II in 2001. That was against CSUN. Oh, and then they knock off the #1 team in the country, previously unbeaten Hawaii, in 5 last night. They trail in this match here 2 sets to 1. And again, we've been talking at length about what is on the line here. The winner will get, of course, the automatic berth into the NCAA tournament. But there has been a lot of speculation across the board about what's going to happen for perhaps a second Big West team to get in. It seems as though many that we have seen that have voiced an opinion on it and have expressed and shown some research on it say that Hawaii is likely to get in and maybe even be a #1 seed. Vinny Lopes, bracketologist for Off the Block, great follow on Twitter, by the way. He is one of those who has been adamant, saying that he feels like Hawaii is a lock for a #1 seed. And of course, Cindy Lewis, who has covered Hawaii volleyball for decades. She is also a great follow, by the way. She has also suggested that she believes that Hawaii will be in, which then means that the loser of this match would not get an at-large berth. And so you're facing either raising the hardware or the end of the road. And it doesn't get bigger than that.
That is so true. And what we got to remember here is that UC San Diego not only surprised and shocked so many people by the upset last night, but they were exactly here last night with the Warriors. They were down 2 games to 1 when they came back. They're a pretty resilient team. This will be an interesting match to follow in that sense.
Gauchos strike first. DeWeese on the serve. Pass by Palma. And they go outside to Ka, but he has it sent right back at him. And it looked like McGarry may have gotten the better of that exchange, jumping up next to Keenan Sanders.
And McGarry listed at 6 feet. I mean, he holds his own in the front court. There you take a look at it. And yes, that was McGarry, along with Keenan Sanders, but he pushed that ball right back in. On 3 blocks tonight so far.
2 serving 0. And that's an ace. Randy DeWeese coming out like gangbusters here from behind the service line.
With authority. The second service ace tonight.
Attacks Ka that time. Back set goes to Shannon through the block, punched up in the air by Peksak. And 2-handed over the net by McGarry. Touched over by Bennett's. A little pitter-patter really on both sides. That's not pitter-patter though. That's heavy-handed right there by Wilcox.
You can feel the energy returning onto the side of the Gauchos team. They're just in system. They're coming up with balls. Playing their defense is what they're known for. But Ryan Wilcox imploding on that ball.
So 4 points to start this fourth set.
Great jump start, that's for sure. What you'll notice for the Tritons is that they went back and they took Blake Crisp out, just like they did last night in the fourth set, and came in with a new setter, Andrew Boyle.
Yeah, Boyle responded in a similar situation last night. UC San Diego was trailing 2-1 against Hawaii. Late in that fourth set, Boyle came in and he contributed. Charlie Wade, head coach for the Rainbow Warriors, even pointed out, he said, yeah, that change at center, it changed things up as far as the rhythm of the match, and it threw us off a little bit. And he gave a lot of credit down the stretch to some of the strategic moves by Kevin Ring.
Yes, and as you're speaking of Kevin Ring, he's picking up that paddle once again.
And McCulley wanted a touch. There was none called. So we're going to have another challenge.
First challenge, ladies and gentlemen.
It seems like we're ending up with lots of challenges because when you challenge and you win, you get your challenge back. Taking a look at this, Kyle McCulley coming out of that back court, aiming for high hands.
Looked like there was a touch.
And it looks like it's a quicker decision than we've seen so far this evening.
Yeah, that was about as quick and prompt as we've seen it. And so it goes from 6 serving 1 to 2 serving 5. And Kevin Ring has built a pretty good challenge record here over the last 3 days.
I believe last night he was 3 for 3.
That serve into the net. So can UC San Diego muster up the energy for another comeback to keep this dream run alive? Or is it UC Santa Barbara's time to realize a dream? 6 serving 2. Middle set, that's Clark.
And Logan Clark, the 6'7" junior, who speaks fluent Spanish.
Yeah.
Muy bueno. Good job in the middle. Clark with his 4th kill.
Oh, the serve by Ka into the net.
Those are the little things that can get super frustrating. You're shooting yourself in your own foot.
And Gary now to serve. 7 serving 3. Triton's out of system. Ka from the back row. Couldn't put everything on it. Diving save Wilcox. And then McFarland down the line, avoiding the block. Missed it wide. And he quickly looks at the rest of his teammates and pats himself on the chest and said, my bad.
Yeah, he saw a line was given to him, but he took it a little too sharp on that. And Colin Scott playing a little dancing, get out of the way quick move. Playing right back, just jumped out of the way.
And that pass tight to the net. Backside goes to McFarland, splits the uprights of the block. Now McCulley playing it back, sends it long, no touch up front. The Gauchos with some separation here in the early stages of set 4.
And you wonder, again, we go back a little bit to how tired are your legs, you know? So, such a long match last night.
McCulley. How about the effort there to keep it alive by Peksock? And it's returned. Back row set to Ka, not on target, but he's still able to make it work.
One of those broken plays, just bettering the ball. Not great timing, not great feet to ball, but somehow making it work and not crossing over the line.
San Diego, 3 kills, 3 errors so far in this 4th set. Trailing by 3. Backside, Deweese, the block was late, and he made them pay the price.
That's a great set by McGarry, isolating Deweese, and Deweese is kind of in the zone. You feel him bringing the energy and getting more and more confident as this match continues on.
That's something that Kevin Ring complimented this UC Santa Barbara team by the fact that he feels like they just know how to keep the pressure going when they have their foot on you, when they're pushing you against the ropes. They're pretty unrelenting. But a big kill and much needed point there for Bennett's.
Bennett's doing a nice job in the middle, hitting for a high clip of 385 around 2 big blockers.
Outside, Wilcox blocked back. McGarry goes right back to him, and this time he makes it work. 10-6 Gauchos.
And Wilcox just getting a little bit lucky on that one. He's hit 32 balls so far tonight, hitting at a clip of 281. That was his 12th kill.
One of the Hawaii connections for this UC Santa Barbara squad. Right side, that's Shannon, and he tools the block to his advantage. One of the other Hawaii connections, their trainer, the UC Santa Barbara head trainer and assistant AD of sports medicine, Leroy Hugh. There he is from Farrington High School, Farrington alum.
Gotta love that. He's in the Big West. He gets to come back and forth when it's obviously not COVID year, but you know, he's living in a pretty sweet place. Great job.
Oh, how about that serve?
That is a huge break for the Tritons.
Bryce Curtis playing the net like an instrument that time. And it is 8 serving 10.
Coming in as a serving specialist.
Good pass there, McFarland. Backside, Deweese. The tape slowed it down and allowed for the diving save by McCulley. Tough angle for Cobb. Gauchos go outside. Wilcox. The up there by Boyle. Cobb, big wind up. Off the block. Lay out save. Pecksock going into the bench. Wilcox sends it out, and it's a point for the Tritons.
Unbelievable defense by Pescock, running around in that backcourt, just laying it out all over the place.
And all of a sudden, the Tritons are within 1, but check out the effort going airborne. The stretch fetch by Ryan Pecksock, a third-year freshman, played in 2 matches last year, redshirted as a true frosh in 2019. And UC Santa Barbara trying to hang on. Aerial view of where we're at, the campus of the University of Hawaii at Manoa. The Dome building on the left, Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. And that's what these two teams are playing for. The hardware right there. Team championship trophy and the MVP.
And it's about as tight as it gets.
Wilcox is denied out of the timeout. UC San Diego has now scored 4 straight, and they draw even. And it just feels like every time you think you've seen enough from this team, that there has to be a limit to what they have been able to put forth energy and effort-wise. They continue to respond.
They do. They're so tenacious. They just keep coming at you.
Deweese trying to right the ship. Sends it long, and the Tritons lead here in the 4th.
And that's one of the things that UCSD is doing really well. Their block is putting so much pressure on UCSB's offense. Logan Clark at 6'7" and Colin Shannon at 6'7", posting a nice sized block there in the front court. Of course, along with Ryan Kaw.
Fourth hitting error for Deweese. Overpass. And a chance here for the Tritons to keep the pressure going. Outside, it's Kaw, off the fingertips. Defending the back line was McFarland. The touch shot by Sanders. Rattled around, it'll be played back. But now a late whistle. And they're going to give the point to UCSB. Took a moment for that to call.
And it's interesting how none of the players are challenging that call. A smart play.
Good effort, but that looks pretty clear.
Yeah, no palm got under that one.
And that ends the run. And in fact, UC Santa Barbara now with consecutive points. The pinpoint ace by Ryan Wilcox.
And Wilcox again going after Ryan Kaw from corner to corner, getting a lot of topspin on that ball.
12 serving 11. 68 miles an hour on that serve. Kaw with the swing off the block. Peksak keeps it going. Middle set to Sanders. Tried to almost tomahawk it over. Gets blocked back. Second crack. It is roofed.
Colin Shannon was not fooled. McGarry went up like he was going to hit it and jump set. There you see it. And Keenan Sanders gets blocked.
Shannon been tough from the service line all week. Sanders, was there a touch? There was not. Sends it long, point for UC San Diego. And now we are seesawing back and forth here in this middle portion of set number 4.
They continue to put pressure on the Gauchos from the service line, as I say that.
Goes into the twine. Well, we mentioned this is the 57th meeting between these two programs. Santa Barbara leading the all-time series 48-8. First meeting was back in 1989, but the last UC San Diego win was back in 2013. The Gauchos have won the last 19 in a row, but as we found out last night, this Tritons team has had a knack lately of bucking the trends. Here's McFarland through the block, two-hand save Shannon. Cross court, the set, too wide for Kaw, and he had nothing to do with it.
He attempted a left-hand spike on that one, but that set just too far past the pin. There is no rescuing getting done on that set.
Big win last night for the Tritons against Hawaii, their first against the Rainbow Warriors since 2012.
Yeah, huge for the program, huge for the history, and huge for their confidence. You got to look at that side of it. Beating the #1 team in the nation.
Oh, but Kaw runs into a wall consisting of Casey McGarry and Donovan Todorov.
You think Casey McGarry was a little excited after that block?
Timeout Tritons. We'll take a break as well. Sunset off of the shoreline on the south side of Kauai, serving as a wonderful backdrop to some of our broadcast production. It has been a fun week here in Honolulu, and we definitely want to thank the Big West Conference, certainly the University of Hawaii at Manoa Athletics Department, the staff and crew here at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center for putting on a great tournament amid difficult circumstances, as has been the case all season long. They've made it happen, and here we are in the championship match. Santa Barbara up 2-1. They were up 2, but that is chopped in half after the Logan Clark kill.
Logan Clark getting up, kabooming that ball. Interestingly enough, Andrew Boyle likes to go to the middle, and Logan Clark knows it. He's been up and he's been ready every time.
66-mile-an-hour serve. Back row, it's Wilcox. Dug up by Palma. McCulley, cross court. Too hot to handle for Roy McFarland. And the Tritons draw even again.
And you know, their coach was quoted as saying, can your strengths be your strengths? I'd have to say yes. You know, they're tenacious. They just keep clawing away.
Yeah, these are two teams. They know what they are. As Ryan Kahl misses the near sideline, they just are very comfortable in their individual roles with one another.
And I think both teams are so disciplined in their roles, and they've been defined clearly by their coaching staffs, and they're all taking care of those roles.
A lot of trust on either side of the net, as that one is demolished again by Shannon. He leads everybody now with 13 putdowns.
Logan Clark going out. Having Nick Rigo come in as a serving specialist.
Came in the other night, served up an ace. The bench went crazy.
You gotta love when the bench gets an opportunity to come in. They just want to contribute. You know, they're putting in as much time as everybody else in.
And Deweese had everything behind that one, but it'll be played back. McCulley against a double block. Gets the point. And UC San Diego leapfrogs in front.
McCulley had 52 attempts last night. And tonight so far, I believe he's got 42. So yeah, he's a little jumping bean out there, taking a lot of the load.
He's going to leave it all out there. As that one is smashed by McFarland.
McFarland doing a nice job. I am positive that his Gaucho teammates are so glad that he is back out here on the court. 7 kills and 20 attempts, hitting at 200.
So we are tied at 17. A win in this set for Santa Barbara means a championship. A win by UC San Diego means their hopes for a championship remain alive going into a 5th. Backside, Deweese. The touch shot, diving save by Palma. That was incredible. Call from the back row, though, is denied access.
Some great defense by Palma. I mean, he came out of nowhere, but you got to give credit to Donovan Todorov. There you see the replay. I mean, he was amazing on that play. Deweese was in on that block as well.
Yeah, the two liberos balling. Palma with 11 digs. Peksak with 11 digs. And the block is stout. It is Todorov again. Just seems to be so locked in the middle of it all.
And only a freshman, Todorov, doing a nice job. And once you get your hands on 1 or 2 balls blocking, it kind of becomes like I'm in my little system, if you will.
And so that little burst by the Gauchos prompts a timeout from the Tritons. What do you think some of the discussion is right now in that UC San Diego huddle? You see the coaching staff talking amongst themselves at the moment.
I think what they're going to talk to is they're going to talk about set location and who to set. Andrew Boyle going to the middle when UC Santa Barbara's middles have been really turning it up quite a notch, and so has Deweese as far as the blocking goes. Santa Barbara with 13.5 blocks right now. So they're going to talk about set location and who to set. I think they may, you know, try to mix it up a little bit more and go to that right front.
Let's check in with Ryan Kalei-Suji. What's up?
Well, as the Big West hosts this championship here, this is the first time in NCAA history that the men's and women's seasons are actually happening at the same time. And earlier today, on the women's side, Kentucky won their first title, winning the women's NCAA championship, beating Texas in 4 sets. Many of the players involved here in the Big West championship had their eyes glued this afternoon watching the women compete, and again seeing Kentucky win that first title. For Hawaii tomorrow, they will actually be gathering here at the Stan Sheriff Center at 7 a.m. to find out their fate and where they will be going, and if they will be going and getting that at-large bid. They'll be gathering here as a team. Earlier in this match, I caught up with Josh Walker, the assistant coach for the team, who says, hey, 15-1, I think that deserves a automatic at-large bid, I should say, to the NCAA tournament. He says that the team, of course, has not really made any predictions or plans. They're just waiting to see what happens tomorrow, and will make their travel plans and everything else after that 7 a.m. announcement.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Taking nothing for granted. As you take a look at Dan Butterly, commissioner of the Big West Conference. Getting back to the Women's National Championship. Congratulations, again, to Kentucky, first ever title. Texas was going for its third, but a couple of Hawaii ties on the Texas side. You have Jenna Gabriel out of Marinol as their starting setter. You also have Noreen Yosia's sister, Nalani, as one of the serving specialists, defensive players for Texas. Noreen, of course, former University of Hawaii standout setter. How about the effort on the Triton side of the net? Middle set goes to Todorov, and he gets it down. He is delivering right now in the clutch for the Gauchos. They have scored 4 straight. They're up 3 as they make that final turn here in the 4th.
And again, the little things done by the middle blocker, who is only a freshman surrounded by seniors, literally doing a nice job.
Tritons need something, and they get it from the guy they usually get it from, Kyle McCauley.
And McCauley has been so clutch for his team. Started out a little slow earlier tonight, but is really coming on.
They have yet another comeback in them. Serve goes long. Andrew Boyle with the service error, and that gives the Gauchos the 3-point edge again.
You gotta wonder where he's gonna go with this serve.
Middle set, and that's blasted by Bennett.
And again, liking the middle, Andrew Boyle will go to the middle if the pass is on. He is not afraid to get his middles involved.
In an interview prior to the season, Shane Bennett had mentioned that his favorite sports moment was sweeping UCLA last year. It was kind of an epic win for the program. I'm wondering what last night's match has done to the rankings there for him, as that one goes long. A free look for Ka on the overpass, and he wasn't able to cash in.
And a yellow card being pulled out real quick. I'm not sure on who.
Well, we saw Palma get a yellow card last night. If you recall, he kicked the ball in frustration. And does it go to Palma again? Perhaps. We don't have the official word, but Jesse Martinez, he pulled it out. The yellow given to the Triton side.
Well, Palma's pretty intense. You know, he's back there working hard and definitely took the yellow card, and he'll own up to it. You know, in the heat of the moment, of course, from his angle, that ball looked in. From our angle, what'd you think?
Well, this is one of those situations, if you're Kevin Ring, you might as well challenge it, right? I mean, your season, for all intents and purposes, is on the line here. You don't want to go down 22-19 if you can help it. You might as well challenge this call.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a good challenge. And UCSB celebrating.
And you saw the line judge call it in, and so that was an overrule by the top official, Jesse Martinez. And
yes.
So I think that's what prompted the reaction from UC San Diego, and based on that reaction, Kevin Ring saying, all right, let's just go ahead and check this thing. Because if you win this, it changes the complexion significantly here. It's such a late stage of the 4th set.
It really does. And it does create confusion when one linesman calls it out and the head ref calls it in. And as a player, so much of it is what you saw.
All right, let's see if this angle tells more of a story.
Well, everybody tells a story on the Gaucho side. They're all jumping up and down, raising their arms.
They're pretty sure. Well, whatever happens at the end of this match, whether it be after set 4 or set 5, you have to laud these two teams for what they have accomplished out here in Honolulu. Once again displaying the level of talent, the level of quality of volleyball in the Big West Conference.
And especially for the seniors, you know, when you look at the big picture.
They're going to uphold the call. Not enough there to overturn. It can be a game of inches, even less than that oftentimes.
Literally.
And the Gauchos now up 3. They can smell it here. 3 points away from a championship. And the serve goes wide. So that's the other side of the challenge, right? Is it works effectively like a timeout. UC San Diego doesn't have anymore.
It definitely works as a timeout. So it can go your way or not.
Bennett's gotta get it in. Pass by Wilcox. Here's DeWeese off the block and down. Clark was a little late getting out there to the pin.
Touching a lot of balls, but just not that one. DeWeese putting an exclamation mark on that one. 37 attempts for DeWeese.
And it is the Punahou School alum Wilcox behind the line. Outside Ka off the trampoline, but the dig by Pexot. Bump set, cross court to DeWeese. Blocked, but good cover there by McGarry. McFarland is dug up by Palma. High ball goes to Ka. Didn't get all of it. Chance here for the Gauchos. McFarland, two-hand save Palma. Quick set outside the Ka. Dinks it over. DeWeese snips it out. Joust at the net. And we're going to have a net violation. Either way, it's going to be a point for UC Santa Barbara.
And either way, Kevin Ring's got that paddle in his hand, and he's ready to challenge something. I don't know if he knows exactly what. I believe it was earlier in the play. He's challenging whether there was a touch off of DeWeese's swing from the Triton's side.
All right, so we'll do this again. We'll do this dance with the Jeopardy music in the background again.
We'll do this Hana-Ho. Let's see how quickly he comes around on this. This is a difficult call.
All right, so they're going to challenge to see if this got over the net. If not, then that would be a 4-hit violation. You saw Colin Shannon gesture as though that didn't clear the top of the tape. But does it hit the arm of Logan Clark in the middle of that triple block? So this is earlier in the sequence.
And you can see it hit the top of the tape. And that's what makes it difficult. We saw a similar call earlier today.
Well, not enough to overturn. And so here we go, Lisa. It is Ryan Wilcox playing in his backyard, in essence. Serving for the match and the championship. Here's the end of the play, and it looks like McGarry may have touched the net there, but that was not challenged.
That is so tough. They were so focused on that first part of the rally, I believe.
And they would have likely won that challenge. Aloha ball for the title. Outside, it's Ka, the dink, diving save DeWeese. Here's McFarland blocked. DeWeese with the cover. McGarry goes back to McFarland over the block. The save by Palma. He's been doing that all night. Shannon blasts it off the block. He's roofed. And this one is over. UC Santa Barbara has risen as the champions of the Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship presented by the Hawaiian Islands.
UCSB just amazing, tenacious, consistent. They stayed calm and they continued on.
Well, they do exactly what they did to the Tritons tonight, what they accomplished against Long Beach State last night, losing the first, winning the next three. Valiant effort all week long from the Tritons, setting a new standard for that program. But it is UC Santa Barbara winning their 10th straight match. They will have a chance to accept the trophy. And Lisa, it is on to the NCAA tournament for Ryan Wilcox and company. All right, let's check out the players of the match presented by Bank of Hawaii. Colin Shannon, how good was he this week? 13 kills, hit 346, 7 blocks, 5 digs, 1 ace. And Randy DeWeese, 13 kills, hit 237, 5 blocks, 9 digs, and 2 aces. So we have Gauchos coach Rick McLaughlin on with us. And Coach, talk a little bit about what's going through your mind right now.
Just happy for these guys. They set a goal to try to get to Ohio State long ago. It was actually George Mason a year ago before we got stopped, and we reset it to get to Ohio State and play in the national championship, and they checked this off. So now we take one night off and celebrate a little, and then we'll get right back to work.
You've used the word fun to describe this team.
Yep.
And how much you've enjoyed working with this team. What stands out to you about this group of guys?
Just the way they compete and how close they are. Those are the two best things to have as a coach. When you have a team that believes in each other and they are dedicated to each other and they just compete hard and root for each other every day, it makes my job just so easy. And it's such a pleasure to coach them.
Well, just like last night in the semifinal against Long Beach State, you dropped the first set, but you're able to turn it around. What is it about this team where they're able to pick themselves up so immediately in circumstances like that?
Just belief. They look at each other and they get a little bit more out of each other, and we start playing better. But these guys are kind of on a mission. They're all pretty old guys, and they know where they want to get to, and their back is against the wall. They're going to fight. So I don't like going down 1-0, but I don't worry a lot when we do.
Well, it's off to Columbus for the Gauchos. You have now won 10 straight matches. How do you keep this mission going in the NCAA tournament?
Just keep doing the same stuff we've been doing. We'll get back to our gym on Monday and start up again, and probably have a little lighter practice, but we'll work on stuff that came up a little short here. There's a lot to work on, and these guys love it. They love being taught and learning and looking at film, and we'll be ready. We'll be ready in a week and a half.
Not the easiest circumstances for this tournament to be held in Honolulu, Hawaii. All the teams had to take on that challenge that traveled from the continent. What was it like from your vantage point?
Pretty smooth sailing. I thought the way that Hawaii handled it was excellent. It's a great tournament. We love coming to Hawaii. And everything else, the security at the airport seemed real tight and safe. I thought everything was well run, and hopefully we're getting back to an area where that's going to be a norm.
Well, Coach, congratulations. We'll let you get back with your team and celebrate, and the trophy presentation about to begin. So great job here this week in Honolulu, and enjoy this.
Thank you.
Rick McLaughlin, the head coach for UC Santa Barbara. They came in on a mission, as he alluded to, and they accomplished it. And there is no telling what this team is going to be able to do once they serve it up in Columbus. There is the trophy now sporting the UC Santa Barbara name. Let's send it over to Ben Kia'aina, the PA announcer.
Welcome to the awards ceremony for the 2021 Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship, presented by the Hawaiian Islands. Tonight we crown a new champion and the Big West's automatic qualifier in this year's NCAA Men's Volleyball Tournament in Columbus, Ohio. 6 teams from the Big West began the week in Honolulu in search of the title. We have witnessed highly competitive matches highlighted by outstanding performances from these student athletes here at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. And now to present our Most Valuable Player Award and the Big West Championship Trophy, please welcome Commissioner Dan Butterly.
Testing. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much. I want to first and foremost thank the University of Hawaii for allowing us to have a first-class championship here at the University of Hawaii, particularly the medical staff for making sure we're all healthy and ready to go this week. So thank you to everyone at the University of Hawaii. Also want to thank our great partners in Outrigger Hotels and Resorts, Hawaiian Airlines and the Hawaii Tourism Authority for providing our transportation and everything here to conduct this championship during the championship week here at Hawaii again. Also, Spectrum Sports here in Hawaii, thank you for your tremendous coverage to all of you. Fantastic job showcasing our teams and showcasing this great sport of men's volleyball, and particularly this championship game. And last but not least, our student athletes, our teams, everything that you did this year to stay healthy, the testing, the protocols, everything that you guys had to go through, all of our families, friends, and the great men's volleyball Big West Conference fans back home that were unable to participate in the championship and see our student athletes play all season long. Know we're doing everything we can to get healthy and get everybody back here next year and back to our campus games next year so you can see your student athletes play. Before we award and start the ceremony, I want to congratulate the UC San Diego on a tremendous job, not only in this championship game, but also last night against Hawaii as well. So congratulations to you on a great championship. But at this point, it's time to award the championship. So I'll pass it back over to our PA announcer.
Now let's recognize the most valuable player of the 2021 Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship, presented by the Hawaiian Islands. From UC Santa Barbara, by way of Honolulu, Ryan Wilcox. And now the champions of the 2021 Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship, presented by the Hawaiian Islands. Congratulations to the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. Congratulations to the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos, the champions of the 2021 Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship, presented by the Hawaiian Islands.
Well, Santa Barbara's been one of the best teams in the country all year. They are able to hoist the trophy as the best team this week here in the 2021 Big West Men's Volleyball Championship Tournament. And what a moment for Ryan Wilcox. First wipeout and now this. I mean, this is just a sensational run that he's on. I'll give you a chance to speak your mind here, Lisa.
Amazing for him and his team, the Gauchos, for him to come home being born and raised here in Hawaii and then taking home the MVP. But just a huge credit to the Big West Conference and the type of volleyball that was played here all weekend. Phenomenal, and at such a high level.
Obviously, for the Hawaii fans watching, in the back of all of their minds is what will be the final verdict tomorrow morning when it comes to the selection of the 2 at-large berths and the seeding in the NCAA tournament. So perhaps with more on that, and just to share his final thoughts, Ryan, what do you got?
Well, no doubt Hawaii will be watching attentively to see where they will end up in that brackets. Again, many saying that they still deserve that #1 seed. We will find out tomorrow morning again at 7 a.m. where Hawaii is placed and if they do indeed get that at-large bid. But when looking at the competitive nature that we have seen over the past few days, it just goes to show how talented and how good the Big West Conference is with men's volleyball. The fact that a team like San Diego could come into this championship game and play competitively against Santa Barbara, a team that has been ranked in the top 3 all season long, just goes to show how competitive this season and this conference really is.
Yeah, all the coaches prior to the tournament talked about, hey, look, we feel like as great as Hawaii has been all season long, as great as UC Santa Barbara has been all season long, all the coaches saying we feel like anybody, if they get hot, can make a run at this thing. UC San Diego embodied that, but UC Santa Barbara was able to prove to be that much better in this championship match. So congrats to the Gauchos. We want to say thank you once again to all involved for putting on this event, and certainly our Spectrum Sports crew for all their hard work here over the last 3 days. That will do it for us. For Ryan Kalesuji and Lisa Strand, I'm Kanoa Leahy. Until next time, everybody, thank you for watching. We bid you aloha from Manoa.